Okay, welcome everybody. My name is Tomi Juvonen and I work for Nokia, and I'm the current PTL of the OPNFV Doctor project. And here is Ryota Mibu. He works for NEC and he's the previous PTL of the OPNFV Doctor project. And Ryota is going to first tell you a bit about the Doctor project and our fault management work that we have done so far. And that will then lead us very nicely to today's topic of how to gain VNF zero downtime during infrastructure maintenance and upgrade.
Okay, thank you, Tommy. So I'll go from the basic motivation because I think not all of you are familiar with the OPNFV Doctor project, and you might feel confusing that we are talking about fault management and the maintenance topic, but all of the objectives or motivation are the same. So we really want to reduce the downtime of the services on top of the cloud platform or NFV platform by having a good communication between the infrastructure and the application on top of it. So before Doctor framework landed in an OpenStack platform, the situation was something like this. So ES provider or OpenStack administrator allow user to get the VM very quick, but the status of the VM or status of the data plane network are stored in the OpenStack side. So the user of the VM was asked to call the API to retrieve the current status of the VM or the network status. So it's very hard to capture the hardware failure or infrastructure failure that even affect to the application. So in such cases, service operator cannot capture the failure in the right time. So some of the consumer of that services will affect or will see the service unavailability or service stop. But the idea of the OPNFV Doctor is provide such information immediately, like, hey, your VMs are turned to be, or the state of your VMs are turned to be error status. So you really have to do some reaction to recover that situation. Then the service operator can switch over to another standby VM or even relaunch a new VM. And in that way, end user or consumer will not figure out the service downtime. So that's what we really want to create. So we've done that in the fault management purpose. So the Doctor is focusing on provide such infrastructure failure to the upper layer and translate the error message from the host failure to the VM error. So the red arrows are really the focus of the Doctor project. So this message or notification can also be used for the maintenance. So in maintenance case, in most cases, those maintenance are scheduled. So operator can issue or saying like, hey, your VM is going to be shut down within the 24 hours or within a week or something like that. And basic idea was already established in Amazon AWS. So they saying VM retirement. So once the VM retirement was issued to the user can still use the VM, but no guarantee that VM is running for next month or something like that. So yes, the operator can provide such information by email or desktop or portal notification icon. But in this Doctor project, we are trying provide such information by sending out more systematic way. And we are currently supporting HTTP post messages. And if you want, maybe you can use or message queue or Zakka or some other interfaces. And our assumption of the VNF application is something like that. So in NF, in most cases, the services or VMs are deployed with the active standby fashion or maybe March active cases. And there should be some old style application that has no HA mode. So the operators were asked to live migrate or migrate that VM when something occurs in that specific host. But we really have to consider there's various cases that we have to handle. So as a platform, we have to provide the information, but also allows operator to take various reaction for the recovery. And even for the March active cases, so one of the basic or common way is purging that VM, that broken VM, and relaunch new one. But sometimes some operator may allow not to add one another VM until the workload become peaky or some. If there's not much request on the system, maybe losing one VM does not affect the system capacity. So in that case, maybe they won't do any take actions. But yeah, just keep in mind, there's a various scenario for the recovery. So basic idea is just transforming the machine failure to the application layer. In the fault management use cases, this is very old figure when we started this project. But there should be a certain place that stores the host and VM mappings. In most cases, Nova in the OpenStack case. But there will be some other project, even in the OpenStack or around the OpenStack. So basically, the one host failure has occurred. Then the VM virtualization infrastructure manager will capture that failure and translate the failure to the affected VMs and provide this information properly to the owner of that VM. And then owner of the VM can do some recovery action. In this case, switch the standby configuration, active standby configuration, and then set back to the VM. Sometimes do some migration or evacuation in OpenStack terminology. So this is a basic concept that we developed in the OPNFV Doctor project, and we bring that idea to OpenStack, and that was exactly happened 3 years ago in the Vancouver summit, and we already have these functions in OpenStack. We did some changes in Nova, and we also did some changes in the telemeter, OpenStack telemeter project. Currently, they have the AODH alarming function, but we developed the event alarm function to fulfill our requirement. So these are blue blocks are our ideal, let's say, logical functional blocks, and green circles are a component, actual component of the OpenStack, or some open source component that we're going to use. So this is pretty much a highlight of the fault management use case. You can get much more information from the OPNFV Doctor repository, Doctor documentation, or even some documentation in OpenStack. And we are very excited to expand this framework to for the maintenance use case. And I switch to the Tommy.
Yeah, thanks, Ryota. Okay, so that was a bit about the Doctor and the fault management, and for you to see that in the fault management also that the way to notify manager up there, we have this event alarming, and that has also been a cornerstone in this maintenance work. Okay, so another quite old slide about our Doctor maintenance use case. So as you can see, it's very much looking to fault management slides about that use case. So again, here we want to guarantee that the kind of zero service downtime for the VNF, also during the maintenance. And here, if we walk through this, so this infrastructure admin wants to maintain some host. Here's host H3. And again, we could have a virtualized infrastructure manager like OpenStack Nova that has the mapping. So by there, you find out that, okay, the host H3 is having VM4, and we also got to know that it belongs to this project P3 over there. So if we maintain this host, we want to notify this project P3. And now he get to know that this VM is going to hit by maintenance, and now he can, like, perhaps if the time window allows, he can wait a bit that his subscriber transactions are done, and he will be safely running somewhere else. And also he can do things like switch over from active to standby, so he will be safely running somewhere else, not hit by the maintenance. And finally, he would then get the instructions back that the VM could be then migrated, because he cannot do that himself because he's no admin. Yeah, so that's kind of the use case behind what we are soon going to see here. Okay, so a bit about the maintenance design. So this is quite busy slide, but I go through some things through this one before going to explain it better in more detail. So again, we have there this gray box, the application manager, VNF manager over there, and on the left side of it there is the application, the VNF, that it owns some VMs over there, and underneath the physical infrastructure there, on top of which they are running, or the virtualized infrastructure. And now this VNF manager wants to know about all the maintenance events, different states that it goes through, and you can see the line going down to the notifier. He will subscribe to AODH alarm about project-specific maintenance events, and by that he get to know when this admin tool on the right is going through a maintenance workflow, where the maintenance is going and how it's affecting to him. And then if we look to the left again from the App Manager box, we can see those green text. So in different state of maintenance, it might be all these green actions are done by the VNF manager. So he might do a thing like a switchover at some point. And well, if your maintenance use case is like you are replacing even hardware, so you could perhaps reinstantiate even your VM instead of answering back to admin tool that evacuate and or migrate it, because you actually get to know that you get some new hardware capabilities. So you might reinstantiate, so remove your existing one, and when you reinstantiate, it will be running on already maintained host, so replaced host, for example. And also, as in my example here, also I will be looking to a situation where you don't have any empty capacity. So we can even ask downscale the application in the middle of the night, because we don't need it fully operational, because there's not so many phone calls or whatever. Well, phone calls, that's kind of history, but yeah, something else, data flowing. Yeah, and so those are kind of actions that he can do himself, and for each instance, if he wants, he can also follow the line to the right from the app manager. He will answer back if he did a own action for instance that was on a host that was to be maintained, or he can reply back those orange migrate, live migrate your instance. And then we go back the admin toolbox over there. So we can see that there's this project maintenance notification, and I already said that that can be caught by the application manager. And then we can also see that there's this host maintenance notification, and that's kind of admin level of thing that doesn't go to a project. And it's meant for any infra component that would be interested that the host is now actually under maintenance, and you are not interested in it because of that. Like, well, you take it out of billing or whatever. But again, in Doctor, we have this box on down right, inspector. So it can be responsible for automatic fault management, kind of auto healing things. So that might be something nice that it can catch when the host is in maintenance, so it doesn't trigger any automatic fault management actions that it might do otherwise. As surely in the maintenance, you might be rebooting, you might be putting host down and such things. Okay, but I don't like this slide so much, but let's see the next one. It's actually going it quite much more better through. Okay, so this slide is actually from something I used. I had a live demo about this also earlier. So, and as I'm always passing like IDs and not the like a VM name, because ID is unique and it's no matter you would have actually a container or whatever, it will work. And no matter if it's OpenStack or something else, it will work. You will always have a unique ID, whatever you are having on top. So that's why I have in those boxes on the left, I have 4 compute hosts here that I want to maintain. And they are all having a couple of VMs over there. And I expect here that 2 VMs will eat all the capacity of those compute hosts, as 2 VMs normally does. So all these VMs over here, they belong to a single VNF. So then there's this, in a green color, we have here the application manager, the VNF manager, that is responsible of those VMs kind of. Then as an example of infra component that might be interested when the host goes down to maintenance, so I have the inspector with the orange color here. And then there's this admin tool. That is a tool that the infra admin can call to do a maintenance for the host that he likes to do it. And it has to hold the workflow, it owns the whole workflow through the maintenance then. Okay, let's see about that. So, as an infra admin, I want to have a maintenance. I call the API on this tool, and I say that these 4 compute hosts, midnight today, OpenStack next. I will upgrade OpenStack to a next version. That's my maintenance new capability that I also want to tell to application. And I create a maintenance session for those 4 computes now. And what happens next? Immediately when the tool gets this information, it can send all the projects having payload on top of those computes, so now only this one here. A message also saying that, hey, I would be doing maintenance in the middle of the night, and would you be so kind and accept this maintenance so I can do it? And this message contains all the instance IDs for this project, so he knows that what he has that will be in that maintenance. Okay, surely he will give an acknowledgement back. Yeah, and this is a project-specific maintenance event, always this green color here, and it might have a little different content on depending on which state of maintenance we are going. And like it's always saying like which of your instances are in question now. And also it has like the callback where you act back for the like in an admin tool API where you reply this act maintenance thing. And well, it's not very dark, but it's midnight now. So we will start the maintenance now. And first we need to check, is there an empty compute? Doesn't seem so. So and we disable Nova compute on this, so no further instances can be put there, but everything that is there is still running. So we ask the application, would you be so kind that downscale a bit, so we can go on with the maintenance. So this maintenance event message has a different state, so now there's a downscale, but otherwise pretty much a similar message, same event type. And okay, this project now downscaled a couple of VMs there, and again, as you can see what pop up in the bottom there, that he could wait some subscriber transaction to pass if the time window that the operator gave you allowed it in the messaging. And only after that he would downscale and reply back that, yeah, now I did it. And then the admin tool check that is he satisfied for the actions. Is he? I don't think so. There's no empty compute that we need. So if no empty compute host, we have to make one. And we have to calculate in the admin tool that which one we choose. Yeah, so probably either of those that have only one VM. So we choose this compute one, and different kind of message type here that state prepare maintenance that has only mentioning this one instance ID that's on this compute one, that hey, could you please allow migrating this VM away. Again, the app manager can wait a bit that if he has something crucial ongoing, and then he replies back that okay, now you can migrate, live migrate. And always when the migration action is done, there will be also this admin action done message to the project, so he should expect that it's again running somewhere. And now we finally got the empty compute, so we can start the actual maintenance. So now we maintain this compute 1, and we send this in maintenance message that is admin level message and kind of having the host that is going to a maintenance. And for example, this inspector can listen to this one and disable the automatic host fault management, so he doesn't do anything stupid. And after that, we could have also, when we call this maintenance in the first place, we could have mentioned, for example, some plugin that we want to use in this case. So if we are having imaginary OpenStack rolling upgrade ongoing here, so now he would do this white box. This actual maintenance might be that he is upgrading the OpenStack on that compute. And after that's done, you can re-enable Nova Compute, you can put a VMs there again, and as the note says in the bottom that you could move this host perhaps to your test aggregate and fire a couple of VMs to test that now the new OpenStack version works, and then put it back to a production for this application and reply back that the maintenance is complete and the automatic fault management can again be done for this host. Okay, now we have compute 1 running new OpenStack version, and that's great, it's working. And we can move to a next compute, compute 0, and now it actually has something running there. So now we again need to have this, well, here I have a state for planned maintenance that we are sending to the application, and now he knows that when those VMs are to be moved from this compute 0, they will be running after that on top of new OpenStack version. They will be going to this compute host that is already maintained. So now if he reinstantiates his VM, it will be running new OpenStack version, because that was the thing that we were to do in this example here. Or when he replies back to admin tool that you can migrate, live migrate. So after that migration, it's on top of new OpenStack. And we can also see that he can do here an own action. He happened to have this active standby running on a compute 0, so he switched over to a compute 3 for a different VM there. And again, he can wait some transactions to pass, and when he's happy, he will reply back that, okay, now migrate, live migrate, and after that you get the reply again. Admin actions done, you know that they have moved. And then we repeat that actual maintenance. So we now have the compute 0 also with the new OpenStack version. And for the rest computes, we can repeat all these steps here, and at the end, all those compute nodes would be now with the new OpenStack version, and all those VMs would be running on top of new OpenStack version. And actually what I forgot to mention, so it would be very handy here for the application to do his own upgrade at the same, if he dares, like install a couple of new RPMs that he get the new capability from the new OpenStack version, or if it would have been like even a hardware replacement or something more fancier, he could have reinstantiated and get the new capability by that. Yeah, but we seem to have a bit of a problem still on the screen. So we have some empty capacity that we didn't have in the beginning, so maintenance complete message at the end. And the VNF app manager is catching that, and he can scale back to a full operation now. And again, all the computes are fully occupied. Yeah, so you could do it like this. But of course, if you don't want to have this scaling, then you just add capacity for this guy and you can again run the maintenance like that. Okay, so next, what we gain with this kind of a solution over here. So what we currently don't have, well, if you are at least using something like SRI or VO, so you don't live migrate. And so here we can guarantee like application the kind of a zero downtime because he has time to end his things and know when this is going to happen. And the application gets to know about maintenance or upgrading an infra that actually gives him new capabilities. We can tell that in that messaging. And if like everybody would be supporting this kind of a nice messaging in their infra and VNF managers, so then we don't have a vendor logging on this that anybody's VNF could be running there and catching these kind of things, and somebody else could provide the infra, which is not many times the case in telco. Also the infra can be now aware of the host maintenance by this message, so anybody could be catching that maintenance when the host is maintenance and back from maintenance. And the messaging used here, the content of the message is very generic. I wanted to use those kind of instance ID, and really like already said before, so it doesn't matter that you would have a container or whether you are actually in an OpenStack. Of course, you need a different implementation to handle similar on a different cloud, but otherwise this kind of message content could be very, very similar if it doesn't exist in some other cloud also. And as we saw here, we don't need additional hardware. And because we already have a scaling here, so why not use the same to tell the application if you actually have a more capacity and all in all, you just want the application to scale up so you can handle everything that it needs to handle. And of course, it's a project-specific messaging, so multi-tenancy is there by nature. And this might not be just for telco. At least we are looking generic messaging that tells when the system is in maintenance, for example. And yeah. Then the next question, that where this fit in? That's a good question. So many have seen this slide. It kind of should have all the OpenStack projects there. And yeah, so what we need in here? So for example, there's deployment lifecycle tools. Well, I know OOO has, for example, this rolling upgrade for computes there. Yeah, that's cool. And we pretty much need many things in that box also. Orchestration, well, Heat is a major role here. And well, Mistral could be used in the workflows. Okay, AODH, sorry, that's our key component. That's what we use for messaging up to a VNF manager here. And I don't know, there's Zenlin for clustering, so that could be something. And well, lifecycle. Well, perhaps Masakari over there. it's responsible of the HA stuff, and so it might want to know about host under maintenance. Well, that box, let's pick up Vitras over there. So it could be kind of this doctor terms inspector. So you might be responsible somehow for this automatic fault management, auto healing stuff. So it certainly needs to know that the host is in maintenance actually. Yeah, so there I picked that. Yeah, billing might also be interesting here. And yeah, well, that's something. When you are managing with the VMs, moving them around and stuff, you need many of these during the maintenance. And yes, so back to a question, where this fit in. Okay, I've been working with this with a couple of years now, and I started with Nova, and yeah, we agreed that yeah, it's not in a scope. We don't want to put more of that there. Well, it has something. It has this Nova Compute enable, disable, for example. And then I worked with the fleet management tool called Creighton. It ended a year ago already. It never became an official OpenStack tool then. And as that died, then I started to look at how will I want to do this, and how we could do this in a Doctor. And my final idea is that I want to kick a new tool. So I kick it there. And the reason is that if I would pick some project, so then you would be sticking that project. But if I make a tool that is capable of doing this, so you can continue using your favorite way of using OpenStack and stuff, and then just when you need to do this, you can call this tool. While on some tools you might not use it currently. And like 2 years ago, I already had that idea. So there actually is a Phoenix project that the stub was made a couple of years ago already. It doesn't have any content, but it has a launchpad and wiki. Yay, it's almost working. So I was thinking to start to have the code there, and would like people to cooperate to get that done. Or if somebody has another idea, and for that we have a forum session in room 220 right after actually this session, so we can still discuss that, what people think. But before going there, for further reading or watching, there's a video. There is the similar stuff, the design guideline. It's about what we just saw. And then there's in OPNFV YouTube, there's a video about the live demo about this in OCP and ONS Summit. And surely the last link, OPNFV Doctor homepage. It has plenty of information, not just about this, but of course the Doctor and whole concepts. So let's keep our clouds running with the 5 nines also during the maintenance. And it's no rocket science. Yeah, actually, what I found out when I was in that museum, it's that rocket science is actually, it's very simple. You just fire up a couple of entities and push it through that, and yeah, that's it. But how they got to there, that works actually, that's complicated, and it's hours and hours of testing and figuring it out. But the end result is simple. Yeah. But thank you all, and really there's the follow-up session in 10 minutes in room 220. So we have still time for also questions if you have. Okay. Well, time is up, so anyhow, we have the forum session right after this, so we can discuss there. Thank you.
Thank you for coming.